Good evening and welcome to the 14th installment of my reading S. Morgenstern's classic, The Princess Bride. The man had 6 fingers. "You see," the noble began. "Of course," Domenico interrupted. "The balance of the sword is wrong for you because every balance has been conceived of for 5. The grip of every handle cramps you because it has been built for 5. For an ordinary swordsman it would not matter, but a great swordsman, a master, would have eventual discomfort. And the greatest swordsman in the world must always be at ease. The grip of his weapon must be as natural as the blink of his eye, and cause him no more thought." "Clearly you understand the difficulties," the nobleman began again. But Domingo had traveled where others' words would never reach him. Inigo had never seen his father so frenzied. The measurements, of course. Each finger, the circumference of the wrist, and the distance from the 6th nail to the index pad. So many measurements. And your preferences. Do you prefer to slash or cut? If you slash, do you prefer right to left movement or perhaps the parallel? When you cut, do you enjoy an upward thrust? And how much power do you wish to come from the shoulder? How much from the wrist? Do you wish your point coated so as to enter more easily, or do you enjoy seeing the opponents wince? So much to be done, so much to be done." And on he went until the noble dismounted and had to almost take him by the shoulders to quiet him. "You are the man of rumors." Domingo nodded. "And you will make me the greatest sword since Excalibur." "And I will beat my body into ruins for you. Perhaps I will fail, but no one will try harder." "And payment?" When you get the sword, then payment. Now let me get to work measuring. Inigo, my instruments." Inigo scurried into the darkest corner of the hut. "I insist on leaving something on account." "It is not necessary. I may fail." "I insist." "All right. 1 gold piece. Leave that. But do not bother me with money when there is work that needs beginning now." The noble took out 1 piece of gold. Domingo put it in a drawer and left it, without even a glance. "Feel your fingers now," he commanded. "Rub your hands hard. Shake your fingers. You will be excited when you duel, and this handle must match your hand in that excitement. If I measured you when you were relaxed, there would be a difference, as much as a thousandth of an inch, and that would rob you of perfection. And that is what I seek, perfection. I will not rest for less." The nobleman had to smile. "And how long will it take to reach it?" "Come back in a year," Domingo said, and with that he set to work. Such a year. Domingo slept only when he dropped from exhaustion. He ate only when Inigo would force him to. He studied, fretted, complained. He never should have taken the job. It was impossible. The next day he would be flying. He never should have taken the job. It was too simple to be worth his labors. Joy to despair, joy to despair. Day to day, hour to hour. Sometimes Inigo would wake to find him weeping. "What is it, father?" "It is that I cannot do it. I cannot make the sword. I cannot make my hands obey me. I would kill myself except—" "What would you do then?" "Go to sleep, father." "No, I don't need sleep. Failures don't need sleep. Anyway, I slept yesterday." "Please, father, a little nap." "All right, a few minutes, to keep you from nagging." Some nights Inigo would awake to see his father dancing. "What is it, father?" "It is that I have found my mistakes, corrected my misjudgments." "Then it will be done soon, father?" "It will be done tomorrow, and it will be a miracle." "You are wonderful, father." "I am more wonderful than wonderful. How dare you insult me?" But the next night, more tears. "What is it now, father?" "Oh, the sword, the sword. I cannot make the sword." "But last night, father, you said you had found your mistakes." "I was mistaken. Tonight I found new ones, worse ones. I am the most wretched of creatures. Say, you wouldn't mind it if I killed myself so I could end this existence. But I would mind, Father. I love you. And I would die if you stopped breathing. Ah, Inigo, you don't really love me. You're only speaking pity. Who could pity the greatest sword maker in the history of the world? Thank you, Inigo. You're welcome, Father. I love you back, Inigo. Sleep, Father. Yes, sleep. A whole year of that. The year of the handle being right, but the balance being wrong, of the balance being right, but the cutting edge too dull, of the cutting edge sharpened, but that threw the balance off again, of the balance returning, but now the point was fat, of the point regaining sharpness, now only the entire blade was too short, and it all had to go, all had to be thrown out, all had to be done again, again, again. Domingo's health began to leave him. He was fevered always now, but he forced his frail shell on, because this had to be the finest since Excalibur. Domingo was battling legend, and it was destroying him. Such a year. One night Inigo woke to find his father seated, staring. Calm. Inigo followed the stare. The six-fingered sword was done. Even in the hut's darkness it glistened. At last, Domingo whispered. He could not take his eyes from the glory of the sword. After a lifetime. Inigo. Inigo. I am an artist. The big-shouldered nobleman did not agree. When he returned to purchase the sword, he merely looked at it a moment. Not worth waiting for, he said. Inigo stood in the corner of the hut, watching, holding his breath. You are disappointed. Domingo could scarcely get the words spoken. I am not saying it's trash, you understand, the nobleman went on. But it's certainly not worth 500 pieces of gold. I'll give you 10. It's probably worth that. Wrong! Domingo cried. It is not worth 10. It is not worth even 1. Here! And he threw open the drawer where the 1 gold piece had lain untouched the entire year. The gold is yours, all of it. You have lost nothing. He took back the sword and turned away. I'll take the sword, the nobleman said. I didn't say I wouldn't take it. I only said I would pay only what it was worth. Domingo whirled back, eyes bright. You quibbled. You haggled. Art was involved and you saw only money. Beauty was here for the taking and you saw only your fat purse. You have lost nothing. There is no more reason for you remaining here. Please go. The sword, the noble said. The sword belongs to my son, Domingo said. I give it to him now. It is his forever. Goodbye. You're a peasant and a fool, and I want my sword. You're an enemy of art, and I pity your ignorance, Domingo said. And those were the last words Domingo ever uttered. The noble killed him then, with no warning. A flash of the nobleman's sword, and Domingo's heart was torn to pieces. Inigo screamed. He could not believe it. It had not happened. He screamed again. His father was fine, and soon they would have tea. He could not stop screaming. The village heard. 20 men were at the door. The nobleman pushed his way through them. That man attacked me. See, he holds a sword. He attacked me and I defended myself. Now move from my way. It was lies, of course, and everyone knew it. But he was a noble, so what was there to do? They parted, and the nobleman mounted his horse. Coward! The nobleman whirled. Pig! Again, the crowd parted. Inigo stood there, holding the 6-fingered sword, repeating his words. Coward! Pig! Killer! Someone tend the babe before he oversteps himself, the noble said to the crowd. Inigo ran forward then, standing in front of the nobleman's horse, blocking the path. He raised the six-figured sword with both his hands and cried, "I, Inigo Montoya, do challenge you, coward, pig, killer, ass, fool, to battle!" "Get him out of my way. Move the infant." "The infant is 10 and he stays," Inigo said. "Enough of your family is dead for one day. Be content," said the noble. "When you beg me for your breath, then I shall be contented. Now dismount!" The nobleman dismounted. "Draw your sword." The nobleman unsheathed his killing weapon. "I dedicate your death to my father," Inigo said. "Begin." And they began. It was no match, of course. Inigo was disarmed in less than a minute, but for the first 15 seconds or so, the noble was uneasy. During those 15 seconds, strange thoughts crossed his mind. For even at the age of 10, Inigo's genius was there. Disarmed, Inigo stood very straight. He said not a word, begged nothing. "I'm not going to kill you," the nobleman said, "because you have talent and you're brave. But you're also lacking in manners, and that's going to get you in trouble if you're not careful. So I shall help you as you go through life by leaving you with a reminder that bad manners are to be avoided." And with that his blade flashed 2 times. And Inigo's face began to bleed. 2 rivers of blood poured from his forehead to his chin, one crossing each cheek. Everyone knew, watching it, that the boy was scarred for life. Inigo would not fall. The world went white behind his eyes, but he would not go to ground. The blood continued to pour. The nobleman replaced his sword, remounted, and rode on. It was only then that Inigo allowed the darkness to claim him. Thanks for reading with me tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.